Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. So I'm going to give you guys a quick look at a new weapon light that I picked up from Olight. This is the PL-2 Valkyrie, and this is, I want to say, at least their second version of a weapon light. The first was the PL-1-2, or at least the first one that I picked up. So I've got it here for size comparison and so forth. But this one just came out, and it boasts some pretty high performance specs in terms of lumens and throw. So we'll go through the specs, overall impressions, and details on this one, just as I do with most of my videos. So do have an M&P first version here. It's obviously clear, so we'll take a look at that and kind of the fitment and sort in a minute. But let's take a look at the box here, because the specs are all in the box. So gives a total run time of about 71.5 minutes, and that run time is based on a high of 1200 lumens for the first minute and a half, after which point it'll drop to 600 lumens for a remainder of 70 minutes. And this thing at 1.5–2 minutes at 1200 lumens does get pretty hot, so I'm guessing it's got to drop to keep the temperature from frying it. So anyhow, IPX6 water resistant. There's the optic, a Cree XHP35 high. Does have a 5-year warranty, which is pretty impressive. Olight just celebrated 10 years in business, I believe this last week or this last month, so there is some longevity behind a 5-year warranty, thankfully. And some additional specs here on the back, so run times, distance, kind of the specs and so forth. But anyways, this is what it ships in, and it does come with 2 different attachments. So it does come with the Glock attachment, the Glock rail attachment on there. So if you're not using a Glock, make sure you swap to the correct rail attachment, 1913 on this one. And yeah, alright, spec wise, so weight, naked it's about 2.82 ounces. With the 2 batteries, which are CR123s, it does weigh in at 4.12 ounces on my scale. It's 3.25 inches long, 1.44 inches wide, and 1.21 inches tall. Retails for about $100. Again, the throw is 235 meters or 770 feet. At the max 1200 output, and essentially it's more than double the output in the distance here of the prior model, which was the Olight PL-1- or PL-12 Valkyrie. This one's 450 lumens, and the distance is about half the distance there. So I believe it's somewhere in the neighborhood of what was it, like 360 or so feet. And this one also has the 1913 rail. So here's some difference in the size between these two. Obviously the 2 CR123s, quite a bit more width on it. This one uses a single CR123, and it's accessible here through the cap or the lens. So anyways, that's how that one works. So obviously you have kind of a quick change here on the new one, with just a tab that you pop up. That pops the whole thing open. So same user interface. You have 2 switches here on the butt. It is ambidextrous, and it does use a lever action to essentially adhere it to the rail. Snaps into place with this lever arm. This one had more of a rubberized texture. This one's gone back to a hard plastic. Doesn't have the same amount of traction, which I'm assuming that people may have complained or said that this was catching on clothing potentially. So anyways, there's a size comparison. Length is relatively the same, but the width is different, the weight is different. Here's an old Streamlight TLR1S, and these two are pretty much the same size when you discount the arm on it. Yeah, pretty close to be honest. So these two are actually a pretty good size comparison. Obviously massively different lume output and performance. This one is several years old. Alright, so let me show you guys the fitment here, M&P 9. So this one It fits a little bit odd. It seems to be almost a little bit too long, so you guys can see right here it's sitting not quite flush against the rail. It still mounts and it's very, very solid. I don't have any runtime on this one yet. On the prior version here, I've got about 200 rounds through. More than half were run with the light on. But as you guys can see, this one seems to fit a little bit better. It's sitting flush on the rail mount. Let's actually open it. So here we are, sitting flush. You know, it's not sitting at a diagonal like the other one was. So, and no problems with this one. It's run perfectly. You know, all 200 rounds with more than 100 the light was on, so no issues. Does fit a bit more streamlined here with the total width of the gun versus the new version. Again, you can see how that's sitting on there. And obviously you can't go any further forward, and I do have the correct 1913 rail mount. So this one's obviously a little bit wider than the gun, but still usable. So now 1200 lumens is incredibly bright. This thing on strobe, I'm going to do it real quick, is disorientating even a fully lit room. So incredible output. Again, it does get really, really hot after a minute and a half there, and it does start to gradually drop down to those 600 looms. So, but really nice overall. I mean, it's a hard anodized aluminum. You know, the feel is really good. I do like the user interface. So you can tap and hold for momentary. You can just hit it once for on, and then you hit both sides at the same time if you are looking for the strobe. So exact same user face as the previous model. And again, this one's about 450 lume output. This one's 1200. 450 is sufficient for what I imagine I would need, and I do like the thinner profile on this one. It does fit a little bit better. But if you're looking for, again, some pretty high lume performance for around $100, then I think this is a good option. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to put some rounds on it, see how it performs. Again, most of them I'm going to shoot with the light on. So yeah. Alright, that was a quick look at the newly released Olight PL-2 Valkyrie, and I'll put links in the description box below if you guys want to check it out, and I'll give an update at some point after I've actually put, you know, close to 200 or more rounds through this thing. So one more look at the opening method for the battery. Really, really simple. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Comments or questions, let me know. Take care.